Welcome to Write to Publish, your go-to podcast for all things writing and publishing. I'm Karen Stanley, a 14 times published author and the founder of Mabel and Stanley Publishing. Join me as I share a multitude of tips and insights drawn from my own writing and publishing journey. We'll be hearing from some inspirational authors too, who will share their writing experiences and top tips for success. Each week, we'll learn about an aspect of writing, from composition to genre and from publishing to marketing. Listen in as we learn and chat about all things writing and publishing, and let's get you on the right path.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Write to Publish with me, Karen Stanley. And here I am for another of our wonderful author interviews that have been going on all the way throughout July and August. And today I'm joined by the lovely Trudi Smith, one of my long-standing authors who's been with Mabel and Stanley Publishing for, goodness me, how long now, Trudi?
Oh, do you know what? I have no clue.
No,
it's years, but I have no clue.
It's at least a few years, isn't it? So perhaps you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it is that you've written.
Right. Hi, I'm Trudi. Oh my God, what have I written? I've written a novel. It was aimed at teenagers, but I'm finding that all the adults are reading it instead. I have so many people keep ringing and saying, I'm on holiday and I'm halfway through your book, I can't put it down. So that's great.
Yeah.
And the other ones are all my monster books, and these are aimed at, your 2-year-old to 5-year-old. But saying that, my 6-year-old granddaughter reads them because she's really good at reading. And they're a series. I've done 10 of those. I'm started on book 2 of the Books of Time, and I've also got an autobiography going on as well, because people keep asking me to write about my other job and my life.
Excellent. So for the people listening and not enjoying the visuals, that's the Books of Time by Trudi, which is her young adult novel, which, as she said, is now being enjoyed by adults the world over. And that's kind of a bit of Egyptology, isn't it, really? It's sort of Egyptian.
Yes, I love Egypt. I've been there 4 times. I've studied Egyptology, and especially like the crossing over of the night when they die. It sounds so morbid. So I've incorporated it's fantasy, so I've incorporated it with like the people who live in a time, us here in this world, and then the ancient Egyptian gods of the underworld. And I've incorporated the Book of the Dead, the ancient Book of the Dead, and the scriptures on all the pyramids and the tombs. Well, I haven't got any scriptures in the pyramids, it's quite bland, but on the tombs, and I've incorporated that in the book, so it's also teaching anyone who's into Egyptology as well. It gives them a bit of insight of their passage through the night to the underworld.
I love that. So that's a really good example how you've written, for an audience, for a young adult audience, but you've used something that you're passionate about, that you've got a lot of research on anyway. So you're using facts to write a fictional tale, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of facts stuff in it, which I think is great, because that would be great if as the teacher in me is going, oh, that would be good if we were learning about Egypt. It would be a great way to introduce that. So you first came to me because you'd written the Book of Time, hadn't you?
Yes.
How long ago did you write that, and what? So your love of Egyptology, did that inspire you to write it?
When I was a child all through school, I used to write my own little books and everything. I did an Adventures of a 20p piece when the 20p's came out, that kind of thing. And then I actually wrote this one pre J.K. Rowling, pre Harry Potter. Yeah. And I got a chance to rewrite it in COVID. So sitting here, I thought, what can I do? So I just literally rewrote it. I sent it off many, many times to publishers, and they don't even want to look at the script. Don't even want to read you, open your envelope or anything. And I got really despondent on that. And it was via a friend who knew you that said, oh, let me have a read of your book. So she read it. She said, oh my God, I know someone who can publish. And that's how the journey became. And then got to you, and 6 months later,
there you go.
On Amazon. Yeah.
Bit of serendipity there, and that is the issue. I mean, we've been talking with authors a lot about getting a traditional deal. It's great if you can, but the point is, if you're not famous or you don't have a massive following, it can be really, really difficult.
It's luck. I just put it all down to luck, and I'm not a very lucky person. So
bless you. We met me.
I'm not.
That might be it.
I have to graft for everything I do.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. So it's good. So when you wrote it, what would you say? Did you enjoy the process, or did you find it challenging? how did you feel about the writing process itself?
I'm really lucky. I'm a secretary, so words to me have been my life. Correcting managers and departmental peoples and doing business. Everything sort of secretarial. So actually writing it was no problem. I have an enormous imagination. I dream a lot. I used to wake up in the morning, go, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to kill that character off today. So I'll just kill a character off as I go. And then I think, oh, I could add a character in there. So basically, I'm a very spiritual person. So my other job as well really helped. So I kind of link in and say, okay, what can I do next? I'm not the average author that plans beginning, middle, end, set my characters or anything. I just write as I go, and then I just know it's all going to end up in the end, and it didn't. Some of it kind of looped in. I thought, that's a great idea. I could loop that because of that, and make that happen because I put that in chapter 2. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So no, I didn't struggle at all writing it. The monster books, not at all, because I can write one of those in a day. It's just really easy. I stopped at 10 on this year. In fact, I need to get them sold really, rather than just keep writing. So I don't find the journey hard. The hardest bit is at the end, getting the publication. But hopefully there wasn't too many grammatical errors in mine when you proofread it.
They were pretty clean, my love. They were pretty clean. And I think as well, you know, I've had this conversation with other authors, and I said to someone else that I had a bit of a joke with my brother. You know, I'd sat down one day and I think I'd posted something and said, oh, I wonder what's going to happen today. And he was like, is that really what happens? Like, you sit down and I said, sometimes, I mean, I'm a bit like you, a bit of a pantser. I like the story to evolve before my eyes. I do have a bit of a plan because I think sometimes I can go off at a tangent without that. But I think if you really are passionate about what you're writing about, if you really know your characters well, they can often lead the story for you, can't they?
Yeah. It's funny because also in this book I didn't really go into depth in what my characters look like either. The way I wrote it, I thought, oh, I'll leave it all to your own imagination. And I've had some people in the village have come up to me and said, oh, I envisaged that character as that, and goes, oh, that's a nice idea. Wasn't in my head what they look like, but that's how they thought it. And my son, I finally got one of my children to start reading it. He's halfway through. Hallelujah. You know? And he can't visualize as he reads. He's very scientific. So he said all his characters, you know, those little wooden stick things you used to have on desks and play with and bend, etc. in science. He thinks of all the characters like them, just puts them in a scenario. And I thought, there's people out there that read books that don't visualize what we do. And I did just assumed everybody had a great imagination and were very, you know, clairvoyant and visual, but they're not.
No.
Like,
it's a wonderful thing, though, isn't it? It's a wonderful thing about writing and reading. It comes to life in its own way, depending on who's reading it. Your monster books, obviously, they are aimed at very young children. They're picture books, aren't they? And they're about the Monsters of Glubbs Bottom. So it's kind of
I had to get an illustrator for these ones. So it's like one of my monsters nicking the loo roll, that kind of thing.
Where was your inspiration? Do you want to tell people where your inspiration for the monsters books came from?
Well, my first one came, my oldest son now is 33. He was only a little dot, and he was frightened of the monsters in his cupboard in his bedroom. So one night I thought of a great idea. So I got his Wellington boots, and I put them beside his bed, and I said, look, it's going to rain tonight, so when the monsters come out of the cupboard, I don't want them to get their feet wet and come through the house with it. So when he'd gone to sleep, I'd nicked these wellies and I'd put them all in the garden, made them all muddy and everything, put them back. In the morning, he was delighted. He absolutely like, Mum, the monsters use my wellies. And I thought he wasn't then scared of monsters anymore. So I thought, there's a great idea for a book. So I wrote that one 30 odd years ago. And then again, through COVID, thought, this is a great idea. I could do a little series of them. So they come out of the cupboard every night and play with another thing, a different object each time.
I love that. I love that it's rooted in that really gorgeous moment with you and your son. And it's just led to more. These monsters just get up to mischief, don't they, basically? So how was it? I mean, I know for years you kind of were put off publishing the books because of you know, you, like me, you're not an illustrator. I'm definitely not an illustrator. And you were thinking that maybe it would be too difficult or too tricky. But we have this lovely illustrator that works for Mabel and Stanley, does some freelancing for Mabel and Stanley sometimes. How was that, bringing them to life, your characters?
That was my hardest journey out of all my books in every way. I had a lady who used to do cards, sort of like birthday cards and everything. She illustrated the front cover, phenomenal. Then she went off sick and left there. Then I found another lady and she drew a couple for me, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get the rest. Then a friend of mine said, "Oh, I'll draw them for you," and 8 months later, still not one picture. Then I had another one, and it was getting to that. Oh my God. So she actually finished the first book. I was like, brilliant, brilliant. And then she decided to go back to work, didn't have time to do any more. And I thought, I need the same consistency for all 10 of them. And luckily you gave me fiver, and I found a lovely little gentleman out in India. He didn't speak much English. I didn't speak any Indian. So yeah, that was really good fun, but we kind of communicated. The first book was really hard, trying to put what I see in my head down to paper with what he was coming back, and we spent a long time going backwards and forwards and tweaking it. But he was brilliant, and then finally we got it, and I said, yes, that's what my monsters look like, that's how I want them. And then from there he just put the scenes on, and I sent him the book, wrote it in very simple English what I wanted, you know, monster left hand up, smiley face, that kind of thing. And yeah, we formed a really nice friendship online, which was lovely, and we sort of wish each other happy birthday and everything now still. It's really
so
nice.
And the pictures are great. He's really
he's fabulous. I mean,
that's
he
the
is.
thing
He
about
makes them fluffy as
illustrations.
well, all fluffy,
Yeah,
which
I
is
know.
good.
And that's the thing about working with an illustrator. There's a lot of compromise. You've got to kind of, although you've got an image in your head, sometimes that's difficult to relay. You've got to kind of find some middle. It's not going to be exactly what's in your head, because
I
they're
just
not in
kept
your head.
remembering every time you kept saying to me, perfection doesn't make profit. And each time I'd go, tweak back, can you make this? Can you make? And then I'd go, no, Karen says perfection doesn't make it. It is what it is. So the kids aren't going to see the perfection in it. They're just going to see a fluffy monster doing something. So yeah, that was a learning curve.
You can trip yourself up, can't you, by getting too, you know, you want it to be amazing, of course, but yeah, you can. So let's talk about sort of, you were saying, well, now I need to stop because I need to get them sold. I have this conversation with authors a lot of the time. People saying, I've published this book and it's not selling. Why? And I'm like, well, because nobody knows who you are and nobody knows it's there. Let's talk promotion. I mean, that's the tricky part, do you not think?
Absolutely, that's the one I'm not afraid of writing books. I'm not afraid of standing up in front of people and all this lot, because I've done that when I do my platform mediumship and that. But it's selling myself, I can't do. So far I've just relied on word of mouth and friends and said, oh, you should get this book, and then someone else gets it, or they, you know, lend it to a friend and everything. So it's gradually getting out there. Whenever I've done something in a library with the monster books, every child wants to buy one from me, which is great. So I know they love them, but I can't sell myself. And yeah, that is my block. That is where I'm like, I just sit here and hope it just one day. Luckily, someone might read it who knows someone who knows someone.
It's tricky, isn't it? And I think the marketing, it's about, one, you have to kind of get over yourself a little bit and say, actually, I'm not going to appeal to everyone, and that's okay. I can tell people what I'm doing. I can show people what I've done. I can share what I've done. Some people will get me, some people won't. And that's all right, because it's only your readers, you know, your perfect reader. But the thing about marketing is it's such a long game. It requires consistency, dedication. You've got to, and it can be a little bit soul destroying, because you feel like you're sort of shouting into the void sometimes, don't you?
I did a couple of TikTok videos, and I got really good hits. I mean, not like these millions and things. So I got some really good hits for me. I'm thinking, oh, like 900 people have watched my TikTok. If you don't do them every day, forget it. I've got a friend who goes on TikTok every single day, and he missed a week to go on holiday. When he come back, everyone had gone. I'm like, oh my God, it's exhausting. It takes me a long time to do a video because I'm not very tech savvy. I can write a novel, but I can't do tech. And I sit there going, is that right? What am I doing? Press play, and then I get something wrong and I go, oh, I've got to start again. And I don't know how to join everything. And then I've got like a train going past or my husband walking in the background, and it's not very professional. So yeah, I'm not very good at that bit at all.
Maybe your marketing videos could be bloopers. People love a blooper.
Oh God, I've got loads of those.
Just film the outtakes. Just film the outtakes. So, and it's funny because I'm speaking to a lot of people who've made the most amount of progress during COVID, because it was the time when the world kind of stopped a little bit. People had to take a step back and actually had to find things to do that weren't going out, doing being the hamster in the wheel. So it's quite interesting that so many people turn to that creative outlet, isn't it?
It is. I mean, for me, when I sort of like wrote the first one, it's like raising 3 children, having a full-time secretarial job and a husband and the home and everything going on was difficult to fit in the chapters. And as you say, COVID, I'm sitting there going, what can I do? I need to do so. I need a project. I thought, I'll rewrite my book. So I just got down and started from the beginning again and rewrote it. Well, I rewrote it. I went through it over. I think I wrote it 4 times in the end. I mean, the 4th one was after you'd done it and take away 5,000 words. It's too many, and take this bit out. And so I'm like, oh, I've got to take that out. So that's hard, taking bits out that you've written in there that you think are okay. And then redoing the whole thing. But I hate typos. Being a secretary, I hate typos more than anything. I was systematically, please make sure there's not a comma in the wrong place or something, because I'm bad at menus in restaurants. I go, oh, do you know they spelt that wrong? And I'll tell them, like, that's grammatically incorrect.
I know.
I'm terrible.
I know. So, when you do it for a job, you do kind of turn into the grammar police, don't you? I'm a little bit like that. I have to kind of, contain my inner critic, because I'm like, oh, they haven't spelt that right. Yeah. Apostrophes in the wrong places.
The design of the cover was fun. I just got all bits, and then I went over to my son and can you make this into something nice? And he just incorporated all my views.
He's done a great
job. Everything, and just put it all together, and then we went.
The cover looks gorgeous. So and again, this has been a thread through the editing process. You have to be prepared for it's a lot of back and forth. You don't just, like you think you wrote your book, and that's a hefty kind of novel. You wrote that 4 times effectively, didn't you? So it's not a one and done process, is it?
No, the first person to ever read my first ever edition, just from my head, was a 13-year-old neighbour's son. And I handed it to him and I said, can you tell me if this is going to be any good? And when he had a book day at school, they had to write down their 10 most favourite books, and I was number 2 in his most favourite books he'd ever read. And I was like, oh, I've got something here. This is something that I can write then. And he said, oh, can I have one when it's finally published? So yes, I signed one for him. So thank you for this. He was the start of my journey. And I thought, well, let's get a teenage boy to read it. And he was just, you've got to do this, Trudi. So
that's amazing. It's about understanding your audience, isn't it? It's about understanding you and making sure it's right for that audience. So it's been so lovely chatting with you today. But just before we go, what would be your one top tip for anyone maybe thinking about writing a book or just starting on their writer's journey, or something you wish you'd known back then? What's your top takeaway, would you say?
I'd say listen to other people, because however good you think you are, if you're not good enough, no one's going to buy it or read it. So you again, believe in yourself, but do listen to feedback, because feedback is really important. And don't send it out with any errors in there, because readers will just, I mean, I would this person can't even spell, and I
it's
don't
about
care.
That care, level
So
of care,
very important. Edit and get feedback, but just start writing. Why not? Be passionate about your subject. Know your subject as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important. Again, we've had these conversations. As a writer, you do need to be a little bit thick-skinned. You do need to be prepared to take feedback, which sometimes can be tricky to hear, but as long as it comes from a place of love and someone whose opinion you trust, it does help you grow. So
Yeah,
you do have to get used to, you have to get good at going, okay, I'll take that on board, I'll inwardly
and
digest, I won't
train.
take it too personally, and we'll yeah. But
And continuity.
yeah.
Continuity is important.
Mm,
With my characters, if I had someone holding a torch in their right hand, when I go into the next chapter, that torch must be in their right hand, and people miss that. And I pick that up when I read stories as well. And I think, where did the backpack go?
yeah. Yeah, well, you
Little
do it
things
when you
like
watch
that.
films, don't you? Do it when you watch films. You think,
Oh,
well, a minute ago he was there, and now he's, and that's about,
yeah,
developmental editing, isn't it? Looking at the plot to see whether there's any holes or gaps in the plot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wise advice. Oh, it's been so lovely to speak to you today,
Thank
Trudi.
you for having me on, Karen.
You're very welcome. And if our listeners want to find out about Trudi Smith, you can find her on Amazon. The Books of Time, a wonderful tale of fiction rooted in Egyptian history, and her Monsters of Glubbs Bottom.
Yeah, very
I have to
difficult to
say that,
say.
very difficult.
Well, gloves is
10.
because my son used to call their gloves glubs.
Oh, that is so cute.
So
That is
we
so
laugh
cute.
today calling
I
them
love
gloves. Put
that.
your
I
gloves on.
love that. Very, very
Yeah.
sweet books and great for young children. Really lovely illustrations, and no need to be scared of monsters in your cupboard
No.
anymore. So thank you all for listening. I look forward to you joining me again on The Right to Publish. If you do have any writing or publishing questions, please do get in touch. Karen at MabelandStanleyPublishing.com. And if you have enjoyed this episode, please do like, follow and share. It really helps us to reach more writers. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you all again soon, and let's get you on the right path.